The last letter, the remorse of a German soldier. Berlin, winter 1945. The city was nothing more than a shadow of itself. Shattered walls, burning ruins, cold snow covering dead asphalt. And amidst this chaos sat a young man, Karl Müller, a soldier of the Wehrmacht, the son of a seamstress from Dresden, a man who had long stopped believing in victory. He sat in a destroyed house, on a chair without a backrest. Before him lay a crumpled piece of paper, beside it a broken pen. With trembling hands, he began to write, a letter to his mother. Greater than, dear mother, I write this letter, perhaps my last. I do not know if you will ever read it. I have obeyed orders, mother. I have done what I was told. But I no longer know if I ever did what was right. Karl was not yet 23. Before the war, he played the violin and worked in a small bookstore. He believed in honor, in duty, in the fatherland. But that evening, there was only silence inside him, a silence louder than all the cannons. A few weeks earlier, the retreat from Poland had begun. The Red Army was advancing, village after village burning. Karl and his unit were ordered to blow up a bridge over the Vistula River to stop the Russian advance. When they arrived, the bridge was full of refugees, women, the elderly, children, Germans fleeing from the front. Karl looked into their faces. Fear, exhaustion, hopelessness. His officer, Captain Weber, shouted, "Blow it up! Now! No time to lose!" Karl held the detonator in his hand, his finger on the trigger. Then he heard a small voice, greater than, "Please, help us." A little girl, no more than 7, was standing in the middle of the bridge, holding her mother's hand, the very bridge he was ordered to destroy. Something inside him broke. He no longer saw enemies or commands, only people who wanted to live. Instead of lighting the fuse, he threw the explosive charge into the river. A muffled boom, a splash in the water. The bridge remained standing, and Karl knew in that moment, he had done the right thing, and sealed his fate. That same night, Karl was arrested. They found the unexploded charges, and they found witnesses. At camp, Captain Weber confronted him. "You have disgraced our honor, Müller," he shouted. Karl replied calmly, "Greater than, I only wanted to save what was left of our humanity." Weber screamed, "You're no hero, you're a traitor." Karl only smiled faintly. "Greater than, if humanity is treason, then I am guilty." The next morning, he was brought before a military tribunal. Verdict: execution for cowardice and disobedience. Sentence to be carried out in 24 hours. In his cell, there was silence. Only the scratching of his pen could be heard. He continued writing to his mother, pouring his fears and regrets onto the page. Greater than, mother, I have seen many faces, enemies, friends, the dead. But I have never seen one who truly won. War allows no victory. It devours everything that is human. He remembered his childhood, the smell of bread, the laughter of his little sister, the sound of the violin his father loved. Everything that had once been life was now memory. Outside, the snow fell, melting on the iron bars, as if the heavens themselves were crying. Dawn. The snow glowed faintly pink in the first light of the sun. Karl stood quietly, his hands tied behind his back. In front of him, 10 soldiers, the firing squad. An officer read the sentence. Karl barely listened. He looked up at the sky and took a deep breath. Greater than, if you must shoot, then do it quickly, he whispered. But remember, orders fade. Conscience remains. He closed his eyes, and for a fleeting moment saw the bridge at the Vistula, and the child he had saved. Then the shots rang out. His body fell into the snow, softly, like a leaf drifting in the wind. Weeks later, when Berlin had fallen, a young Russian soldier found an envelope among the ruins, blood-stained, half-burnt. On it was written, "To my mother, Elise Müller." He opened it and read, "Greater than, if anyone finds this letter, please tell my mother that until my last breath, I tried to remain human. I was a soldier, but I never wanted to be a murderer." The Russian soldier quietly placed the letter in his pocket. He, too, had been fighting for years, and for the first time, he felt compassion for an enemy. Decades later, in a Berlin museum, this letter lies in a glass display case. Visitors read it in silence, some with tears in their eyes. Beside it, a small plaque reads, "Greater than, Karl Müller, fallen 1945. He lost the war, but saved his soul. Milky Way moral greater than, orders die with time, but the conscience survives the war."